I'm Noah.
And I'm Marci.
We grew up watching Disney Channel, and every few months a new Disney Channel original movie, or DCOM, would drop.
Since we were kids, we would love to get snacks and spend those evenings enjoying really cool and fun movies on our favorite channel.
Well, now we're not really kids anymore, but we decided we want to revisit our younger selves by rewatching all 110 DCOMs, and we want you to join us for the nostalgia.
So, every Friday, we are sharing our thoughts and feelings on the DCOM of the week. So join us, the DCOM kids, in our discussion after rewatching The Phantom of the Megaplex.
Beautiful timing. Excellent job. That was our first try.
First try.
First try. We're like 17th try.
Get
That's
the
okay.
giggles.
Yeah. All right. So that's our new intro. Welcome to DCOM kids. And I was going to introduce myself, but I don't need to do that because we did that already.
Yes.
This is our new podcast, I suppose. It's kind of always been here.
Yeah.
But it's kind of existed in tandem with the Noah Parker's World of Wonder podcast.
Yes.
But we have given it its own show.
Yeah. It's got its own space now.
It does have its own space, and
Finally
it gets to live
has its
alone.
own bedroom.
Yes.
And
And
to share.
because of that, we wanted to give it its own intro because introducing the timer that is going off on Marci's phone, introducing this show the same way we've been introducing or like opening the Noah Parker's World of Wonder podcast just feels lazy, I guess. This needs its own intro, and I'm really hoping that the timing, because like there is a small chance that the audio that we're hearing through that is slightly delayed. So
Okay.
I don't know how. I think we were on it, if not really, really close. So, so as Marci said in our lovely intro, we rewatched Phantom of the Megaplex.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and go down our list here.
Yeah.
Go right ahead. I'll let you lead off, I think.
Starting with the release date.
Yeah.
All right. It was released in 2000, and it was written by Stu Krieger.
Yeah, Stu Krieger, old Stu.
Old Stu.
Our cast of wonderful actors, for the most part. There's a couple of like,
There's a couple.
you could maybe. So we have Taylor Handley, who played Pete Riley.
We have Caitlin Wash, who played Karen Riley.
The always terrific Mickey Rooney played movie Mason.
I'm going to say
Borer.
Corrine Borer played Julie Riley.
Jacob Smith played Brian Riley.
Rich Hutchman played Sean McGibbon.
Oh, thank goodness you could read the words that weren't there. I would have been so lost there. John Novak played George.
Julia Chantry played Terry Tortora.
Ricky Mabe played Ricky Leary. Oh, that is an E.
Mm-hmm. I only know that because the
Dyslexia.
movie. I heard the name so many times. Joe Pingu played Merle.
Joanne?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Joanne Boland played Hillary.
Colin Fox played Niedermeyer.
Daniel DeSanto played Zeke.
And Carlo Rhoda played Tyler Jessamine.
Or something like that.
I'm pretty sure that's...
This film was directed by Blair Treyu. I can read.
I think it's true.
True? You're probably right. That looks more like it says true. Yeah. Now that I read it again.
Music by Bill Elliott.
Edited by Martin Nicholson.
And cinematography by Derek Rogers.
I feel like I always get the who needs to start off because I don't count correctly. Because I think that's fine. Because since I start the scene by scene, you have to do the summary. Well, you don't have to do the summary, but
no, I have to.
Yeah, that's just the way we do things around here.
It's just because the cast is different every time.
Yeah, there's a different number that like we stop at a different number. Like sometimes we'll go through, what is that? 10? That's 14. 14. Yeah, sometimes we'll stop at like 5. Sometimes we stop at 14. Sometimes it's 10.
Yeah.
Fun stuff. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into that summary.
All right. 17-year-old Pete Riley works as the assistant manager at the local multi-screen movie theater where rumor has it a phantom haunts the Megaplex. But while Pete and the rest of the theater staff are working to prepare for a star-studded premiere, a string of peculiar occurrences, all tied to the films being shown, awakens the myth of the Phantom of the Megaplex. Is there really a phantom, or just a phantom wannabe?
Beautifully read.
Sure.
We dive directly into our scene by scene this way. We start with the history lesson of the Megaplex. Just as every 2000s movie we've watched thus far is narrated by our main character, Pete Riley. We learn that the first movie theater in their town opened in 1925 with the Phantom of the Opera. And then one day the theater collapsed. I think it was demolished.
It says, I don't know, they say it bit the dust.
Yeah.
And then it just shows it falling, so.
Okay, that's
no,
that's
like,
fair. I did take that to mean that it was demolished on purpose to build the new Megaplex.
Probably.
But I suppose it could go either way. They don't really specify.
They don't specify.
I feel like based on movie Mason's, like his family owned the original one, like I kind of feel like the vibe he gives off is that it was destroyed to make way for this one.
Okay.
But I could be wrong. There's no subtext there. Who knows?
Tried so hard not to spell theater that way.
Right.
Because it's technically wrong theater.
Yeah.
But anyway.
It's okay. I'm not worried about it. They don't know what our notes say. I keep looking over like, why is the stream not going? Because this is not streamed.
Because it's not streaming.
Any hoozle. Phantom of the Opera. Claps. And legend has it. One patron was trapped in the fall of the theater, but he survived and now haunts the new theater, the Grand Megaplex. You know, I'm going to redact my previous statement immediately because it had to have collapsed for there to be possibility for someone to be in there. If it was destroyed on purpose, like that's a huge lawsuit.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say you're probably right. Sorry. Okay. You can have this one.
Thank you.
Back to me. And I'm done. So it's your turn.
Now in the present day, as we see the Grand Megaplex setting up for a huge night. Tonight they are hosting the Hollywood premiere of Midnight Mayhem, a movie that was filmed in their town. As we watch them setting up everything for the premiere, we meet the crew and their nicknames, starting with Sean, Ricky, who they call Ricky Rules, Terry, who's Scary Terry. Then we have Hillary Honey, Question Mark, Racy Lacey, Merle, and last but not least, Movie Mason.
Mason doesn't work at the theater, but his family opened the first movie theater, and he can't quite let it go. As we transition to a staff meeting, we see Sean, the manager, giving a pep talk to the crew, and he receives a phone call from Mr. Niedermeyer, telling him that he has to choose a general manager.
Has chosen.
Oh, has chosen. Thank you. He has chosen a general manager, and it is his son-in-law. Although Sean is upset with this news, he continues his pep talk, and when he gets stumped, Pete jumps in and helps cheer up the team.
When Pete gets home, we see his sister Karen and mom Julie in the garden. Karen is complaining that she has to babysit their little brother Brian, while Julie goes on a date with George. And can't hang out with her friends, even though Julie told her 3 weeks ago. When Brian asks to go see a movie, Julie negotiates with Karen to go watch Farmer Brown Goes to Town with Brian, and Pete can drive them home on his break. But when Karen wants to see a PG-13 movie called University of Death, their mom says no, and she comes up with a plan to meet her friends anyway.
Back at the Megaplex, Sean is frazzled as more than half of his staff has called out and won't be coming in, leaving the whole night to be run by his teenagers. When he sees the lines backing up due to only having 2 ticket takers, he lets Movie Mason help out, which then backfires when he holds up the line because he doesn't like the movies people are choosing to watch. So Sean calls him over and, quote, fires Mason, hilariously because he doesn't even work there. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. I was going to say this before I started and I forgot.
That's okay.
The whole bit at their house is like the only part that happens at their house. Mm-hmm. Like they never go back to the house the rest of the movie. Nope. You see the theater, their house, and the side of the street where Mom and George are stuck with the van. Where their van dies. Down. Yeah. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
A DCOM with like really one location.
Really one, yeah. Because they probably filmed the side of the street is probably like
out front.
right out front of the movie theater.
Yeah.
And
Honestly.
they just changed the lighting.
That is wild.
Yeah.
I'm kind of here for it. I kind of dig it. Some of the movies where they're like bouncing back and forth
Yeah.
between locations, it's easy to get lost, but
Mm-hmm.
I dig it. I dug it. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Karen and Brian are dropped off at the theater, and they meet up with Pete and make their way over to the candy tubes. Literal tubes of candy in the middle of the room. As they're talking to Pete, he gets distracted by Caitlin, a girl he's trying to impress by getting her and her friend into the premiere of Midnight Mayhem. As they're talking, he is interrupted by gumballs all over the floor when Donnie, a guy from school who doesn't like Pete for some reason, I don't think they explain it. They just say he doesn't like.
They just say he doesn't
He's
like
just
him,
a bully.
and whatever Pete wants, Donnie wants,
yeah.
and usually ends up getting.
Yeah, because he's the rich kid in school or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, Pete quickly jumps into action with a hockey stick and trash can and skillfully slapshots some of the gumballs into the trash can. When he turns around, Donnie is walking into the theater with Caitlin.
I think I must have stepped away from my iPad at some point because I was remembering that part with the hockey stick
Yeah.
and the gumballs,
Mm-hmm.
right? But then I was like, I never remembered seeing it. What happened? I must have literally, because there was one point I was eating lunch while I was writing or while I was watching the movie, and I stepped away for a second, and I came back, and I thought I hadn't missed anything important, but I would thought like I literally until this moment, because this is the first time I'm reading through the notes that Marci wrote. I had literally spent like the whole day after watching it being like, was that a fever dream? Like, am I misremembering the hockey stick scene?
No,
I didn't think
that
so.
happened.
Okay. Excellent.
It was a weird scene.
It was, but it was cool.
It was cool.
I think it paved the way for the Mighty Ducks. Actually, the Mighty Ducks came out first.
Yeah.
This was a callback to the Mighty Ducks then.
Probably.
Apparently.
I don't know.
Which is not a DCOM. That was just a movie. So next we see Caitlin in the theater with Pete talking about the movie premiere and meeting the stars when they are once again interrupted by Donnie telling Pete about a popcorn problem in the lobby. As Pete makes it to the lobby, he sees the popcorn machine overflowing and the team trying to keep up with the amount of popcorn. Pete unplugs the machine, once again saving the day.
After the popcorn situation is handled, Pete goes to check on his siblings. But while he's with Brian, another thing goes wrong. The projections in another theater are flickering and unfocusing. When Lacey tells Pete about the problem, Brian sneaks out and follows him to see what's going on and tries to convince Pete that the Phantom of the Megaplex is trying to sabotage the whole night.
Now, Sean is missing, and Mr. Niedermeyer is calling the theater because Sean isn't answering his phone. Finally, with Brian's help, they find Sean tied up in the basement. As Pete is taking Karen and Brian back to their movie, the escalator stops working. Am I supposed to say that out loud?
You can, I don't care.
Side note, I don't think I've ever been in a standalone movie theater that has an escalator. Okay.
I know it's a Megaplex.
Yes. I was thinking back to if I've ever seen an escalator in a theater before, and I have.
Where?
At the Mall of America.
Oh, I've never been there.
Yeah, I've only been there once, and I was there for a Dairy Queen thing. It was cool, but we got to go there.
I see.
And I remember walking by the theater, and I remember having that thought. I was like, when have I ever seen an escalator in a movie theater?
Yeah.
There.
Okay.
Anywho. Escalator. Then Brian cleverly figures out what the Phantom's plans are. Each disaster that is happening is matched with the title of the movie's showing.
For example, glimpses of Genevieve. That's not how you spell. Anyway,
it doesn't matter.
Glimpse of Genevieve. The projector was flickering. Cut to black. The lights were flickering on and off. And then Cyclone Summer. There was a giant fan turned on full speed. And once again, Pete saves the day by making his way to the front of the theater and turning off the fan. While on their date, Julie and George get a call from Pete to pick up the kids because all of the breaks were canceled due to low staff.
We're just going to pretend that's not illegal.
They
Especially
make
with
a
teenagers.
Yeah, they make a comment in the movie.
Yeah, they do.
Ricky rules because he
Ricky
follows
rules,
all the
yeah.
rules. He says, "This is against our union and
First of all, they're not
rules
in a
or whatever."
union.
Yeah.
I could be wrong here, but I am fairly certain you have to be 18 to be in a union.
I don't know.
I think you do. Well, maybe not, because there is the Actors Guild, which is a
Yeah.
union of actors, and you don't
Yeah.
have to be 18 for that. But maybe there's special. I don't know. I feel like
I don't
there's
know.
union contracts that
Yeah.
can't be. I guess you could sign it if your parent agrees. Whatever.
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess.
Whatever.
Anyway,
They're not in a union. I can almost guarantee that.
but it is illegal.
But it is illegal. Yeah.
Especially since they're.
No, I don't
he
think
tells
any
them to
of them
be
are
there
under.
at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Like to start their shift.
And whenever
And
the
then the
premiere is
premieres-
clearly very late.
I think it's midnight because it's Midnight Mayhem.
I guess that would make sense.
So if they're from 3 p.m. to 12 a.m.,
Yeah. Yeah. That's illegal on a lot of
they
levels.
should get an hour break.
The only
or-
reason I'm like, it's got to be later than that is because Niedermeyer gives Pete $50 to take his girl to breakfast after the premiere.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I guess if it's at midnight, that's like
Yeah.
2, 3 a.m. Like,
Yeah.
that's
It's still.
not
Yeah.
too early for breakfast. Denny's is open. Then Sean comes in with a theory of Movie Mason as the Phantom. So Brian and Karen decide to investigate. First, they find Mason's, quote, schedule and learn he takes his break in the basement, where they find a bunch of old costumes and props. As Brian and Karen are looking around, they find Mason in the basement and tell him about the strange things going on in the theater. And he explains it is not him, which I love the fact that they're just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You said it's not you? Okay.
Well, the way he explains it is why they're like, okay.
Yeah, but still.
Because he's like, he talks about like, I would never take away that magic, the movie magic from you guys.
I guess.
But
Still.
plus it's Mickey Rooney. He can't be.
Yeah, he can't be the bad
He
guy.
can't be the bad guy. All right. Next, we meet Tori Hicks, a talent agent who is bringing the stars of Midnight Mayhem and wants the building cleared so she can bring in her clients. As she is leaving, Lacey comes rushing over to tell Pete that Donnie and Ricky are about to get into a fight. Donnie wins a classic Sword in the Stone contest and is insisting he gets his prize, free movie tickets. But Ricky can't give them to him until the next day. And just as Pete is standing up to Donnie to get him out, sprinklers start to go off in another theater.
After learning that Mason isn't the Phantom, Brian comes up with a theory that Merle is the projection. Merle, the projection man, is the real Phantom. Because who else can mess with projectors and not break them? But just as they're confronting Merle, the Phantom is setting up his next sabotage, a fog machine to fill the theater that Midnight Mayhem will be shown in. Pete finally agrees to let Brian and Karen help out, and they make their way to Sean's office to find a spoiler website to find out what the Phantom will do next.
When they get to Sean's office, they find him tied up again and hanging from the door. Then Lacey comes running in to let them know Mr. Niedermeyer's limo has arrived at the theater, and they meet him at the entrance and release the balloons. I never mentioned balloons before. There were balloons hanging.
Yeah, there was balloons. There was balloons up in the ceiling, and Sean was the one who put them up there.
Yes.
But you're led to believe that it wasn't actually Sean. It was the Phantom.
It was the Phantom.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, they release the balloons only to find they have been swapped for water balloons, soaking everyone. As Brian and Karen learn the plot of Midnight Mayhem and are on their way to tell Pete, Karen sees a key laying on the ground.
Next, we learn that the giant monster that was atop the theater has been removed. But just in time, Mason is out front singing "Hooray for Hollywood" to entertain the crowd that's been waiting. When Sean confronts him, he is interrupted by the star of the movie, Madison Ashley Metz, who happens to be a good friend of Mason, and tells Sean that they are ready to go inside. Karen and Brian catch up to Pete and tell him about the climax of Midnight Mayhem, and he informs them that the giant monster has been taken from the roof and no one can find the rooftop key, which is exactly the key that Karen found when leaving Sean's office.
Once they get to the roof, the Phantom appears and throws a blanket over their head and ties them up and runs away. While they're on the roof trying to get untied, the premiere is about to start. But as the director is finishing his speech, the giant monster has been stored in the upper level and starts to inflate, attacking everyone in the room. Finally getting untied, the kids make their way to the theater and find the mayhem that has ensued.
Mason finds the kids in the upper level and gives them the idea to take the sword out of the stone and, quote, slay the dragon. Pete confronts the Phantom with a wild silhouette fight scene, and we finally reveal who the Phantom really is. In a Scooby-Doo style fashion, they remove the hood to find none other than Sean McGibbon. Mr. Niedermeyer fires Sean, obviously, and the premiere continues on.
After Brian states, quote, all that's left is a 4-star ending, George turns to Julie and proposes, but he doesn't have a ring. But with a little movie magic, Movie Mason pops in with a prop ring for George to use. And of course, Julie says yes. Then Mr. Niedermeyer offers Pete the senior manager position since Sean has been fired. But he declines the offer and decides he wants to have some time to be a kid, have more fun, and not work all of the time.
And that's all, folks. We finally got away from it.
Yes.
We finally stopped, which is fitting since we're on a new space
Yes.
now. You know, new intro, new ending.
New ending.
Hopefully, we can keep rotating them out. Get something new more frequently.
Yes.
I completely forgot to add the rest of the notes to there, but it's okay. It's all stuff we do anyway.
Yeah.
So Marci, tell me about Phantom. How did it hold up after these 20? We'll call it 24 and a half years because it didn't come out in January. I don't think. This is like the 8th movie we've done in 2000. So
I think this is like one of those summer when they did like the new movie a week thing in the summer, and that's why we have so many in 2000.
My goodness, there's so many. There's 110 of these.
I know, and most of them are in 2000.
Yeah.
Aside from like the whole no break situation, I think the movie held up pretty well.
I agree. It was
like
it's one of those classics that like I don't think about a lot, but then randomly I'll be like, I'm gonna watch that. And I enjoy every moment of it.
Yeah.
As opposed to like some of the other ones where I haven't thought about them since the first time I watched it.
Were you at that
like Ready
was
to Run.
a DCOM.
Ready to Run definitely fits there for me. I'm like, I didn't even remember this was a movie.
I forgot about it. Like you said the title and I was like, I don't know if I've ever seen that. And then when I actually watched it, I was like, I have seen this.
Same.
Just
once.
Maybe once or twice on a rerun.
Yeah. What was your favorite? Oh, sorry. Hi, guys. What was your favorite scene in Phantom of the Megaplex?
Ooh, there were a lot. Let's see. I liked when when Hillary and Lacey are like cleaning the bathroom and they hear the sounds. They hear the bump in the bathroom and they go, oh, "It's the Phantom."
Yeah. Okay. The funny thing about that is, so when they're freaking out, they're like, whoever's in there, you better get out right now.
Yeah.
And then the two girls come out, right? And then is it Lacey that's like shaking really bad? Yeah.
Yeah.
Lacey's like shaking really bad. And she's like, you got to get out of here. You can't stay. There's no more seats, right?
Yeah.
I literally watched that and I'm like, that is literally how I feel at Dairy Queen when I have to like be assertive.
Yeah.
Because, there's times where people are doing things they're not supposed to do and you have to be assertive.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the worst part about being a manager, in my opinion. I hate it. And I always end like,
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So shaking really bad. I felt her in that moment. I was like, I got you, girl. Don't even worry. You're not alone.
You're good. You're good.
Yeah. So that was your favorite. That's a good scene.
Yeah. I also like when they're on the roof, like trying to find the valve to untie them. I was like, how do you know there's a valve up there? Like,
I can believe that he knows there's a valve up there.
It, but
I don't believe he has any idea where he is in relation to the valve.
Yeah.
I love that they scooch over. Okay, we have to move right to get to it, and then they move forward.
Yeah. You're like,
Pete moves forward.
Yeah.
And I believe, what's the girl's name? Karen is facing Pete. They're like front to front.
Yeah.
And so she has to move backwards
Yeah.
And I think the only person who's actually moving right
is Brian.
is Brian.
Yeah. And there's one point where there's 2 times where he says, "Brian, get your elbow out of my back." I'm like, he's tied up. What are you talking about?
Ain't nobody's elbow in his back.
No.
But then they fall over on it, and then he's like, "Oh, I think I got it. I got it. That's it." And I'm like, "You said you got it before the rope ever touched the valve."
Mm-hmm.
That is the one part of this movie where I'm like, the acting was fine, but it did not match what we were seeing visually.
Yeah.
And I get it; it's hard.
And I don't believe that it was those 3 actors under the blanket.
No,
it was
certainly
stunt
not.
doubles for sure.
Well, when the rope is being untied, I'm like, I am 100% sure someone's arm is just in there. But they're trying to make it look like it's people's feet.
Yeah.
That was really I enjoyed it because like this is so cheesy.
It was so silly. It was very Scooby-Doo
And
moment.
then the other thing about that confused me is I'm like, there's no way Sean, as we know now, the Phantom, wouldn't have gone back through that hatch and locked the freaking door behind him.
Right?
They're stuck on the roof. There's no way.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna tie him up and then go. There's no way they could get out of there.
Right? Like
that was funny.
No. He absolutely would have locked him.
Yeah, for sure. I think my favorite scene is when they confront Movie Mason in the basement.
Yeah.
And they find his just trove
yeah.
of props and stuff. And I'm like, I would love to have a room
love that.
like that. Just a ton of movie props. Just nostalgia and like memorabilia. That would be so cool.
It reminded me of Jester's basement, but organized.
I had the same thought where I'm like, I've seen this before. Minus Jester's does have, I don't know if they still have it, but the few times I went into the basement at Jester's, they had a, what's it called? A ventriloquist dummy right at the bottom of the stairs.
He's not at the bottom of the stairs anymore, but he's still down there, yes.
Because he was creepy as F.
Yeah.
The first time I had to go down there, because that's where they keep the soda bibs, right? Okay. I had to go down there to help Scotty change out some soda bibs. Yeah. And I was like, this is spooky. Yeah. But it was also really cool.
Yeah. We're theater nerds.
Yeah. Theater nerds, and it gets the crossover with my movie nerdish, but I don't know if I can really call myself a movie nerd because I don't watch that many movies. I watch a lot of Disney movies. But I don't watch a lot of other movies. People are like, have you seen this movie? And I'm like, no. And like, how have you not seen this movie? And I'm like,
because I've been watching 110 DCOMs.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what do you have a least favorite scene from this movie?
You might hate this.
Go for it.
It wasn't my least favorite, but I was like, this didn't do much with the hockey scene.
That's okay.
Just because I was like, you cleaned up like 5 gumballs.
Right. Okay. I'm with you. I am with you.
Okay.
It wasn't a thing that I cared about that much. I just thought that I was remembering something wrong.
Yeah.
So it was, I agree. It was like,
it was a cool scene, but it was like, you didn't need it.
The thing that I thought was weird is like he has really insane hockey skills.
Yeah.
It's never mentioned before that moment. Never mentioned again afterwards.
Yep. It's just to clean up the gumball.
I guess the point is like oh he's just a really good assistant manager.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't consider hockey pucking gumballs into a trash can as a quality I would look for in an assistant manager.
He just like turned it into a show.
Yeah. He's
like,
kind of showing off. I'm like, a broom and a dustpan would have been more efficient, more effective, and less intrusive to guests who may have been trying to walk between you and the trash can, who inevitably would have got pelted in the head with a gumball. It was
funny when the gumballs did initially fall.
Oh, and the 2 dudes.
Like the 2 guys just couldn't stand up.
Like, whoa.
I was like, what is happening?
Popcorn everywhere. That was classic. I enjoyed that part. It was funny. But again, not necessary.
It wasn't fully necessary.
Yeah. Okay, the thing that I thought, I'm going to throw this out there. Because the thing about that scene that I'm like, everything else that's going wrong in the theater is Sean's fault. He is doing it on purpose. That happens accidentally.
That one's not accidental. Donnie does that one.
Well, it's still an accident because it starts with Brian trying to open it and the lid pops off. Yeah. And then Donnie tries to put it back on and breaks it.
I think Donnie purposely broke it though.
Do you think so?
Yeah, because he goes, you just pop it right back on, and he like does like a motion that look.
I chalk that up to one of those things where he's like,
You just pop it back on. Oops.
You know how like in theater, you as an actor know you have to break the thing.
Yeah.
You have to make it look like you're not purposefully breaking the thing, but you have to purposefully break the thing.
So he like did a bad job.
That was part of one of those
Bad
things with like the
acting
acting.
scene?
I was like, nah, that's where the acting was a little bit subpar, but I get
I
it.
don't know.
I've had to pretend to break things
Yeah.
on stage before. And
I
it's
think
not
he
easy.
did it on purpose because he was trying to get Caitlyn away from
Okay.
Pete.
We can believe that. We can believe that.
Because then he like instantly goes, "Look what you did, kid! You broke it."
Yeah, sure.
And he knows that it's Pete's little brother.
We'll agree to disagree on that one.
I don't know.
Final question. Unless you
Yes.
have more to say, please say more if you need to. If you
Nope,
don't, you're
we're good.
Okay. Rating out of 5
Oh,
gumballs.
This one is 5 gumballs.
5 gumballs. 5 gumballs.
5 gumballs.
I agree.
This was like another one that we watched multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
Like it was one of our favorites.
I remember having this one on the DVR
Yeah.
when we had DirecTV.
Mhm.
I distinctly remember recording that
Yeah.
movie.
This, between anything that the Lawrence brothers did and then this one and Alley Cat Strike, like those
Yeah.
were our movies. That's what we watched
those
on
5,
repeat.
4, 3,
5.
4.
Alley Cat Strike, Phantom Maze,
Jumping Ship,
Jumping Ship.
Horse Sense.
There was another Lawrence brother one, but it was an old one. It wasn't a DCOM.
Oh, so that doesn't
It
count
wasn't
then.
a DCOM one, but it was like one that they when Andy was like 5 or 6.
The Other Me is another one with
yeah.
Andy. I don't think the other two
Yeah.
are in it. They might be,
No.
but Andy is definitely in The Other Me.
Yeah. And
I wonder when that one's coming because that's got to be soon.
that one's got to be soon.
Yeah.
I feel like it's
he's
between.
yeah.
Is it between the two?
No, I think it's after Jumping Ship.
I don't
We can find
know,
out.
because he's.
One thing we're going to be doing differently here
Mm-hmm.
than what we have been doing, and we've kind of been doing it, but not really, is we are going to be skipping holiday-based ones
Okay.
and coming back to them during the holidays.
During the holidays.
So before we had our little hiatus there,
okay. Yeah.
we were supposed to be doing Phantom of the Megaplex,
Mhm.
and then we would jump into The Ultimate Christmas Present.
Yeah.
That was going to line up with
Yeah.
The Ultimate Christmas Present coming out right around Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
But
Due to
stuff went
scheduling
sideways on me
and-
pretty
yeah.
good. Not even just your schedule with theater, like
Yeah.
things on the podcast were going sideways a little bit.
Yeah.
And I had to recenter. Can you look at my this device is not logged into my Disney Plus, so I can't see what's after.
I see.
I need to see what's after The Ultimate Christmas Present. But anyway, so we were supposed to do The Ultimate Christmas Present already, but we ended up getting delayed. We're back on track now. We're starting fresh,
I
kind
actually
of.
don't know how to find it. You have to.
Okay, no problem. So I just go into the search,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go into, you scroll down till you see all collections,
Mm-hmm.
and then you scroll down to Disney, and then you scroll over a little bit to Disney Channel Original Movies.
Oh.
And then we're in this grouping here. Let's see. We got some good stuff coming up. Okay. Jumping Ship is coming. Oh, yes. Yes.
Yes.
I'm so excited. Okay.
Tell
so-
me.
So, The Ultimate Christmas Present is going to be pushed back until December, which is a whole year away, basically.
Yeah.
But we get to jump to Xenon the Sequel, which I have been so anxiously awaiting getting to the next Xenon movie, and then we're going to get to do
Yes.
Xenon the Sequel before long. It's going to be so good.
Yay.
Or not the sequel. This is the sequel.
This one.
Xenon Z3 is the last one. And I love the Xenon movies. I'm so excited that that's next
Yes.
week's movie, to be honest.
Okay.
And then after that
Is Motocross,
Which is one of my favorites.
I think that movie is what made me go, it's okay to be a tomboy.
Yeah.
It's okay to be a girl who likes boys sports.
Yeah, I think that's
Like,
that's probably the catalyst. I think me and Andrew bonded the most over that particular DCOM. I think this is the last DCOM Andrew ever watched.
probably.
Just kidding. But yeah, so that's our lineup. So next Friday we'll be doing sharing our thoughts and the scene by scene of Xenon the sequel.
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
Adriana and I will be getting together again on Monday to do another episode of Noah Parker's World of Wonder. That will be live streamed on the Noah Parker channel on YouTube. If you're following us, if you're already subscribed to us there, thank you so much. If you're not, head over there, youtube.com/Noah Parker _channel. Subscribe there. We put out shorts every day, basically.
Every day. Yeah.
And then we also do our live shows there where we have the World of Wonder podcast on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. And then me and Adriana also play games on Wednesday night. We do a live stream for games. And this week, I'm so excited, we will be playing Mickey and Friends Monopoly. I just ordered it yesterday. It is actively on the way. For all I know, it has been dropped to my door by now. So that is coming soon. That will be on Wednesday. I don't know how exactly Monopoly is going to play out.
With just two people?
Not with just two people, but like specifically in a live stream scenario, because like we're probably only going to go for an hour. And then I'm like, do we just pause and come back to it the next Wednesday? Or do we just award a winner, whoever has the most money at that point and the most hotels and all that stuff, whoever has the highest net worth?
You think you're going to have hotels after an hour?
I don't know. There's only two of us, so maybe it could go pretty quick, but we'll see. And then, I have some other games in mind to purchase. I've got a couple on my Amazon cart that I'm excited to try out. One of the games that we're hoping to play soon is Disney Code Names. But we have to adapt it for 2 players because it's a 4-player game. So, go ahead.
Maybe,
I can tell you have a thought.
Maybe we can, because I only teach until 7 on Wednesdays. And I don't have any more rehearsals.
Ooh.
So maybe I can convince someone to play Code Names with us.
Okay.
And then we can do 4-player.
The tricky bit is the space there. We could probably make it work.
Yeah, just
we can probably
two
make
on
it
each
work.
side.
Yeah, but we got to squeeze. This table's not that big.
We can squeeze.
The camera angles are the things that... Well, we can make it work. We'll make it work. If we can do it, we'll make it work. It doesn't have to be next week. Actually, it won't be next week because we're doing Monopoly.
You're doing Monopoly. But like in a couple weeks.
Yeah, in a couple weeks. Oh, camera neglect.
Yeah, that's fine.
And one of the things we're trying to work on, and it's, maybe if you're free on Wednesday nights, having a switcher for when we play games would be cash money, because we did, what did we just play? We just played Lorcana, and I struggled switching cameras for that. That was what we just played Lorcana on Wednesday.
Just on Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that one yet.
Oh, well, get on it, girl.
I'm sorry.
Some people's co-hosts, am I right?
I was at a rehearsal.
That's fair. Well, as I said before, guys, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel on Noah Parker _channel, or you can follow us wherever you find your podcasts. That's where you'll find DCOM Kids is its own show, so you can search for DCOM Kids. We're orange, the orange banner. And if you're also looking for our regular Disney parks and whatnot podcast, that is Noah Parker's World of Wonder. Both podcasts are available on most major podcast platforms. I don't really know anyone who uses anything other than like Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I don't even know if anyone I know uses Amazon Podcasts, but it's there.
It's there.
Same with iHeart Podcasts. I don't know if anyone that I know listens there, but it's there. And unfortunately, DCOM Kids is not available on CastBox because nothing exists on CastBox. I don't know if CastBox even exists anymore, to be honest. Because I couldn't log in to load it in. It's like it's a secondary, like third party podcast player for Android phones. Like we wouldn't know it exists anyway because we have iPhones. But anyway, I look forward to hanging out with you guys on Monday night while me and Adriana discuss some of the latest goings on in Walt Disney World and a couple of tips and tricks on how to pack a park bag. And next week Marci and I will be doing the Xenon the sequel.
The Xenon.
Yeah. And until next time, guys, let the wonder take hold.